When it comes to what's happening in Wayne County and the North Carolina area, look no further than Taylor House Publishing. If you have a story that needs to be told, please contact us via email at taylorhousepublishing@gmail.com.
Look at this on the long term. You know, if you're in a constrained budget, and if we back up to Bill's slides, this is going to bring in millions of dollars to fix some of the constrainment that you're in right now. And so this is also a $350 million economic impact. So you may feel a little tight right now, but over the next 3 to 5 years, if we move this plan forward, you'll feel a lot different. I think you'll have probably a $2 million in surplus that you're looking at based on what we put up there in economic,
So
development.
you're telling me that $2 million economic impact is going to be based off of a pocket park, if I'm deciding where a pocket park is going to be strategically placed?
So you're talking about a choice neighborhood plan, and your choice neighborhood plan, we're putting the plan, they gave you $500,000 to put a plan together. Typically plans consist of pocket parks, whatever that community says they want, right? Once we submit our documentation, I had a great conversation with Janelle Baker today. We're looking good. We're able to go out and apply for the $50 million. So I think there's, 55 million, 55,000, 50 million, $2 million economic impact per year. I mean, those are just straight up numbers. So I think we have I don't want to play a short-term game for a long-term outcome. Again, it's a $350 million impact to this whole area, and I don't know of any other funding in the country right now that you could seek to have that type of economic impact to Goldsboro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman that you saw right there on the screen is Mr. Anthony Goodson Jr., who is the, CEO of the Goldsboro Housing Authority here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And what you see is him asking the Goldsboro City Council this past week, or their meeting, about a $55,000, endowment, for lack of a better word, for him to put a park in a certain neighborhood. Now, this endowment or this park would put him in a position to, as you heard, receive a $50 million grant as a part of the Choice Neighborhoods initiative. Choice Neighborhoods is when you have low-income housing and regular housing and high-income housing in the same neighborhood. So the reason I am talking about Mr. Goodson today is because, as I mentioned, he is the CEO or the head, president, whatever, the chairman of the Goldsboro Housing Authority. Now, the Goldsboro Housing Authority is actually a nonprofit organization. Now, I didn't know that until recently, until I started getting involved in these things. I thought the Goldsboro Housing Authority was a part of some Goldsboro initiative or Goldsboro governing body or a state governing body for public housing. But unbeknownst to me, this is a nonprofit organization. Now, if you know anything about nonprofits, organizations, it sounds like they're not trying to make money, but nonprofit organizations, a lot of times their goal is to make money. Now, as you see, Mr. Goodson is kind of positioning himself to receive a $50 million grant as a part of the Choice Neighborhoods initiative, but he needs this pocket park. There are certain things that he has to do to be eligible to apply for this grant as a part of the federal guidelines. But what I want to talk about today is the current condition of the Goldsboro Housing Authority. Now, you can go back a few weeks back. There were videos, concerns with certain residents of the Goldsboro Housing Authority properties. And actually, if you don't know the properties that falls under the Goldsboro Housing Authority nonprofit organization, there are about, there are about 10. Now, Elmwood Terrace is one, better known as the new projects. You have Fairview Apartments. You have Lincoln Homes, better known as the old projects. You have Little Washington. You have West Haven. And you have Woodcrest. Now, these other 4 areas, I did not know until recently, once again, that these were public housing, for lack of a better word, or under the Goldsboro Housing Authority. Those are Walnut Street School Apartments, Park Court Apartments behind the high school, Oleander Avenue, it's a duplex, and you have Trinity Court on Daisy Street. Now, all of these apartments fall under the umbrella or are owned by the Goldsboro Housing Authority. Now, I think they have recently acquired some of these apartments, so that tells you that they are acquiring properties for profit. People are not living in these homes for free. People get government subsidies to handle their rent. So this is a profit-making entity, regardless of the nonprofit status. So that is a point I really want to make. But there were a lot of residents, and have been for a long time, talking about the neglect that certain residents receive. Fairview Apartments, with mold and old, just old pipes and plumbing pipes bursting, water everywhere. You saw some of the videos where the mold and the black mold and, just failure to maintain these apartments and total neglect. Now, I did a few videos on it, and when I did the videos, several people continued to call and say, okay, well, they told them that this was wrong. The only thing they did was paint over the mold. They put a Band-Aid pretty much on an AK-47 assault rifle wound, right? And so we know that there is a lot of crime in Goldsboro happening. And a lot, unfortunately, of the crime, especially the violence, are happening in some of these areas. As you remember last year in Lincoln Homes, within about a 2 or 3 month span, 3 young children were being killed. Unfortunately, the young man lost his life in Elmwood Terrace. I received a call from a resident this morning about West Haven Apartments, in which I grew up in. 135, I think it was 135 DuPont Circle or something like that. But that's where I was born at, right? So I'm from the West Side for real. But nevertheless, this individual called me, and she was concerned. Of course, we've been making the videos, we've been following some of the crimes, but this individual was concerned about the shootings that has happened in West Haven, and some of the and she once again mentioned, of course, the parents are out there that know their children are doing this and they're walking around with guns, blah blah, not blah 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 blah, but you get the message, right? And so she mentioned something that I had used to hear about, but I do not hear about anymore, and that is the one-time rule. And I thought it was a statute. I reached out to the Goldsboro Housing Authority today. I received no answer. I tried several times and, tried several extensions. Maybe they saw my number and didn't want to pick up. Nevertheless, if you have any explanation to this and want to give your side of the story, 919-587-7782. But there was once a rule where if a person got caught in the projects or a Goldsboro Housing Authority residents, with guns, with drugs, committing a crime, that person was banned from that area, if not that particular housing authority location, all housing authority locations. Now, also, I thought there was something where if your child or if, your residents or your boyfriends or anybody who was a guest at your house was engaged or got caught up in any criminal activity, then you were forced to be evicted. And that's what I asked the lady when she started talking about, some of the neighbors' houses getting ran up in and, their boyfriends getting caught with drugs or guns or things like that. I was like, well, didn't they have that, mandate that, if a crime happened at your house, you were subject to an eviction? And she was like, well, I don't, because this happened in such and such a year and, nothing has been done. I said, okay, well, I'm going to check into that. Of course, I checked into that and I received no answer. So y'all tell me in the comments, is that still true? If you get caught or if you, commit a crime or if, drugs are found in your house in the Goldsboro Housing Authority, is there a thing to make an eviction? And if not, when did it stop? Or, what is the particular mandates? Because this lady, once again, is concerned, as a lot of people are. And once again, I grew up in the projects until I was about 5. My parents are both from Green Acres, Seymour, and the old projects. Whole family stayed in there, and they, pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. So I don't look at anybody any different because everybody needs a start. Everybody needs somewhere to stay. Everybody is even may be comfortable living where they're living. But what we do have to address is, once again, the violence that may or may not occur in these places. So that is and that is a part of this video as well, because the city of Goldsboro, if I'm not mistaken, gives the Goldsboro Housing Authority, I think, $100,000 a year to operate the cameras that are in these areas, these housing areas. And if I'm not mistaken, according to some information that I received, they're, asking for more money because the cameras don't work or they're not being properly operated. So they are not able to, thwart or catch some of these crimes that are happening. And so that is another reflection on the housing authority, its leadership, and its board. Not to mention, once again, as I mentioned, the failure to address all the health issues, all the maintenance issues, all of the dilapidated apartments and mold and things that have people have talked about for years now. And I do have to shout out my girl. Y'all might don't like her, but a lot of the things that she's been saying, as I look deeper into some of the things, not even trying to, but some of these things that she say are right on point. I have to give shout out to my girl Natalia Monet. I have to say the name that she gave Mr. Goodson. You see it in the caption. Anthony No Good Goodson Jr. That is her name for him, and that name is just funny to me. I don't know Mr. Goodson. Like I said, I did reach out to the thought. I don't know anything. I've heard some, things about him. Some good, some once again not so good, and that's with everyone. So I don't know him personally, but it seems to me, just by looking at this video, and you can go to that city council meeting, that there is a more of an interest in building up the housing authority or building up the financial base of this nonprofit or allowing them to get more money than actually taking care of the residents or taking care of the properties that you already have. From my understanding, that they are trying to buy other properties and things like that. That is a business. That is a for-profit business, no matter how much you say nonprofit. It is for-profit. Like, people get paid. Like, he gets a salary. In order to pay that salary, they may get federal grants, but they use that money to, once again, make more money. and that's just the nature of the beast. But evidently, he's asking for more money to broaden his already widening base. Now, once again, I had no idea that this was a nonprofit organization with board members and things of that nature. So, my question to him is, what is he doing to correct some of the issues that are in the housing area? Not this choice neighborhood, which is a great initiative if it brings, money to the area. If it allows you to get $50 million to your organization, please use some of that to fix up some of the residences and try to curb some of the crime. Like, I know one individual was just kicked out for being $5 late on his rent or whatever. But you have repeat offenders sometimes in these areas who are once again allowed to stay. And I don't know any of this personally. This is secondhand information that I'm getting. So this is something that concerns me, because once again, a lot of violence happen in these areas and nothing seems to be done. It's my understanding that the Goldsboro Housing Authority used to work closely with the Goldsboro Police Department, and they would have housing authority officers out there, and they had a closer relationship. Now, from my understanding, Mr. Goodson doesn't work. Now, once again, this is information from what I've been told. This is alleged that Mr. Goodson does not work as closely with conjunction with the police department as need be. Now, but you do see him up here in front of the city council asking for a grant to put this pocket park. And I don't know where this pocket park, I think they said somewhere on Mulberry and George Street, where they can fulfill these guidelines to be able to apply for a $50 million grant for choice neighborhoods. Now, you're going to get that $50 million grant and invest it all into the choice neighborhoods, or are you going to take some time to build up or fix some of the issues that several residents have complained about? And I still actually have about 3 or 4 people that I was out of town when they called me, and we did not get a chance to go by there, but they were willing to go by there and show me some things in their apartment and actually get on camera and tell their instances of not being able to get things fixed in their home. So this is something that I'm going to keep an eye on as far as residents are concerned. If you do have any, because once again, we did videos about a month ago, when I received a lot of calls, I received a lot of comments, received a lot of testimonials, and we haven't been together to corroborate those. And of course, I've reached out to them, and once again, I don't know if my name comes up with my number, but I've not gotten any response as to their initiative or their plans for handling these complaints. So I'm glad that the lady called me today, because this is an issue that I have been meaning to address and get some more insight on it, to force these, the housing authority of the city of Goldsboro, the HACG, and also force the HNIC of that organization. And if you don't know what that means, then watch Lean on Me from the early 90s. But to force this, Anthony Goodson, it's hard not to use that name, because that is a genius name. That girl is a genius, the way she be coming up with these names. Anthony No Good Goodson Jr. Hey, that's funny to me. I don't care if y'all don't like it. It's funny to me. But evidently it seems like that the Goldsboro Housing Authority's interest is not in the housing, but in furthering the authority. If that makes sense. I don't know. It makes sense to me, just by looking at him being, standing up in front of them, talking about how much, this choice house program is going to bring the city, when you have residents that are, complaining about things that you guys are not doing? Is it because you don't have the funding to do it, and that is why that you are so pressed on getting this, or are you just neglecting them in favor of bigger projects? That's what I want to know, Mr. Goodson. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, I'm not shy. My number is 919-587-7782. So and we're gonna continue to once again look into this housing authority issue. And if you have any testimonies that can confirm or deny these reports of being a I guess a free fall out there, not having any repercussions for things that they used to have repercussions for, any maintenance issues, the camera's not working, all of those things that were mentioned in the video. If you guys have some insight, feel free to reach out, man. And if I'm wrong, me, I'm going to correct myself. But nevertheless, 919-587-7782. I thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the encouragement and all the criticism as well. All the input, all of that is welcome, so we can continue to address Goldsboro and make Goldsboro a better place. Someone said that some of my videos are negative, but you can't get to the positive if you don't know what the problems are. And many people don't know what these things are. I think the gentleman said, well, yeah, people watch your videos, they don't. They would think, Goldsboro is the worst place to live, but once again, I said you haven't watched all of my videos, but that's a whole nother conversation. But, it's important to, shed light on things that are wrong, because once again, as you've seen before, if you don't shed light on them, then they're going to continue. But as soon as you shed light on them, then those problems are addressed. So that's what we're doing. As the young lady said at the comment in the video, we're still giving a voice to the voiceless. We bringing, as my slogan says, we're bringing the voice of the voiceless into the minds of the masses. So that's our intentions here. Y'all be blessed. Peace and love. 919-587-7782 or TaylorPublishingHouse@gmail.com. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.